First time that's ever happened. Those of you guys that are watching the stream live, I don't have anybody on. Kelly's jumping on here momentarily. I am so sorry about the technical difficulties right now. We literally just lost the stream for some reason. I have no freaking earthly idea. My internet's back. So as Kelly jumps on, we will pick up where we left off because it just cut off all of a sudden. Don't know why. Fingers crossed. Hi. All right. My effing Lord. I am so sorry to our listeners. And I just created a bunch of stuff I've got to edit together because holy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is the episode that
it's because of this book. That's just all we're gonna say. We're just gonna accuse.
I mean, yeah, or it could be the universe telling us that we can't end our season. Just saying, just don't do it.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Don't end season 1.
So the only thing I could think of, I was switching from my phone to get back on the computer,
and it died because you're in Creator, so it shut it down.
And it shut it down, and I don't know, like normally that's never happened because I've had to do that before, like on SDE. Yeah, that didn't happen last time, so I thought, I can just switch, and so that's the only thing I can think of. So this will be edited out. So we're gonna pick up right where we left off.
Well, first, let's put all the new links up and try and link the old show to the new show and see if we can get people to jump on before I start back. Since Vinkman is here, thank you, Vinkman. Can you tell me where y'all last heard me speak?
Okay, yeah, just let us know. We got 5 people watching, so I think everybody that was on, because we were between 5 and 7 people, so I think everybody's back.
Okay, good.
So welcome back, everybody.
So sorry.
Hello.
The one time I can't, like, I don't really want to, like, get a drink at my parents' house because that's just awkward, and I'm just like, listen, I might need to make a margarita after this.
I am going to email StreamYard and be like, please, for the love of God, roll out those new features like yesterday. Because I'm hoping that they will, because what would happen is that Kelly would be like a true co-host where she could, like,
and then that way it would just switch the responsibilities to me and the stream would not die.
Exactly. All right. Yeah. Captain Tixville says, talking about the dude scrapping the cloud idea in his letter.
Thank you. All right. So he was talking about how May was a cloud, a ethereal soft cloud that he worships and it is always above him, and he throws it away because thank God.
Oh,
and
that letter is bad.
It is really bad. So luckily this kid scraps that letter as it's too sappy before writing a new one. He's been trying to write this letter for a while, but it's been hard to find the right words to say. He's also just on a school bus, which isn't the best place to write unless you have headphones on, like some of the girls do in some of the panels, and of course the Lizzie McGuire soundtrack on your Walkman, because this is 2002. I know these things, trust me. Anyway, this kid is apparently running out of time, but we don't know what time he's speaking of. And he says he has no social life and procrastinates. And this is stuff that he is writing to May. This is in his letter. Sounds like a real winner. He's writing this to say that he is totally in love with Mayday Parker. As this kid is writing, I guess May is getting up for school. Mary Jane, who is not pregnant, because this is apparently set earlier than when it was published, is telling her that the Parker bus will be leaving in 15 minutes, aka, I guess, a car. I thought May walked to school. But all right. As we read what this unnamed kid is writing, we get a very weird shower scene of a 15-year-old girl. So there's that. As the kid is writing, bullies shove his hand with his pencil in it into his face hard enough to break the pencil. That's
Listen, I
really
saw that on Dark...
like really bad.
I saw that on Dark Knight. It didn't end well for that guy.
No, it didn't. But luckily he's okay. They call him a freshman, so we learn that he is a freshman. And I assume basically like in more Felicity's classes, or maybe not, I'm not sure, what this universe is for this kid. So anyway, a girl helps the unnamed kid up and says, at least you won't have to deal with him again. This is apparently his friend who knows about this love letter he's writing. Her name is Kari, and Kari teases her friend about his crush. Low key, I love Kari, and I'm really sad that we don't get to see her again. Can she be Felicity's friend? Just because I'm pretty sure they're in the same grade. And I actually I just like the fact that she's teasing him, because it's realistic, and also this kid needs to be teased. This is totally crazy. So anyway, as the kid writes up this letter, he tells May that he's not going to say who he is, which raises a huge creepy factor for me. If I was just given a random love letter from someone I don't know, it feels a little stalkery. Even though he is a freshman, he's in her study hall, and all he does is stare at the back of her head for 40 minutes, and apparently that warrants this kind of letter to her. Yikes. So then he starts writing this whole, by the time you get this, I'll be gone thing. And, sure, I guess we've established it means he's moving, but because he doesn't write this in the letter, what if you were to get this? How would you not be worried that this kid is going to hurt himself? Because it sounds like someone who read Romeo and Juliet and thought it was the perfect love story over what it actually is, which is a tragedy. Him talking about destiny and this train that's streaking towards his destruction, oh boy. He also then puts it in her locker, and then basically stalks her to see if she reads it. This is so messed up, guys. I just have to throw that out there. Also, we see, before May can open up her locker, Davida shows up with some keys, and I guess she's 16 here and can drive a car. I'm not entirely sure, again, if that's canon necessarily in the actual scheme of things, but we'll go with it. Yeah, and I wrote, also, side note, in this scene where this weirdo is watching May play a game, someone is wearing a Roots hat, and that's like a Canadian sweatpants loungewear thing, kind of like Juicy Couture, but more Canadian. And I'm just wondering who's from Canada. So there's that. That seemed to be more interesting than this story. Anyway, also, we get this mall scene of his creepy letter, and again, it sounds really... and this is while his letter is talking about destiny and the unknown. And so I don't know if this is supposed to be before the game or after the game, because if it's after how it's set in the story from the central game he's talking about, then this is definitely not the last time the boy stalks May. So he's lying in the letter. I don't understand where this... I assume it's a flashback, but we don't really get an understanding of that. So anyway, Davida, May, and this random girl that I suppose is either Courtney or another girl from the basketball team. And I was just like, is this before? Because if this is before the game, then I'd understand if it's unknown teammate Bombo number 5. But if this is supposed to be Courtney, this doesn't look like Courtney. And I'm very, very lost. I literally wrote, where is her bangs? Because where is her short stature? She is a small bean. And small, I wrote, is SMOL. She's a small bean. So, this is just very confusing. And anyway, they walk past a jewelry store and I guess then he starts following them because he's a stalker, and the jewelry store blows up. And basically, this kid gets up, shakes it off, and runs towards Davida and whoever this girl may be, this non-Courtney girl, and doesn't even help them up, but just demands to know where Mayday Parker is. And if May doesn't know who this kid is, neither does Davida. So this is kind of weird and strange. But during all the chaos, Davida's just like, I got no clue. I don't know where she went. And as that happens, we see another explosion go down, and it's Electro's daughter and Spider-Girl are fighting. Then debris knocks him over the railing, and I wrote, good. No, wait, that's mean. But then his letter shows that he wrote, Destiny seems to have decided I'm doomed to never be with you. doomed. So no, actually, it's good that he went over. That deserved that was deserved after that kind of line. Anyway, and sadly, Spider-Girl saved him. He seems to realize something while he looks into Spider-Girl's lenses and sees his own reflection, and then he just bolts it. Okay. And maybe this, and then, like I said, I wrote, maybe this is like a flashback to show his motivation for writing this goodbye letter. I don't really know anything about this other than this kid needs therapy severely. So we see that May eventually gets the letter after school, and after seeing this random kid wave at her, she tells Davida she has no clue who that guy is, but wave back awkwardly anyway because she is very kind. And I mean, it's a friendly gesture. I do it too. And anyway, he ends the letter telling her thank you for her and being alive, I guess. And then we see May start to read the letter. And that is it for that issue. And I will let you give your opinions, Zach.
I want to cuss right now because this letter is so bleeping. Oh,
it's very cringy. I don't go as like far as I did in my breakdown about it as I do in the review, because I was like, well, I get where the writer is coming from. I understand the comics, the young adult comics that were being written at that time with that romance genre, but this is also during the same time as they thought a miniseries like Trouble was a good idea.
Yeah, that was the Jameis brainchild. So I'm just gonna tell you, this issue in particular is just the worst. And
so bad.
It's really bad. It's okay. Look, Sean McKeever, I've read a lot of his. I've read most of his work with Mary Jane Loves Spider-Man, or Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane. He did a great job on certain things.
I never liked that series because I didn't think, to me, it reads very much like this, and it's just it's something that almost feels slightly out of character for Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I guess I accept the premise that it's definitely an alternate universe. So I enjoy it. It's like trying to be cute, and in this case especially,
it just hasn't aged well.
It does not age well at all. And looking at this through like adult eyes, I didn't like this issue to begin with, like when I was younger, but looking at it through adult eyes is just not that good. So I am just gonna say it's not good. I don't. At least you tried. It's like that. It's like the meme. At least you tried. And so,
yeah,
Kelly, I'm teeing off and letting you take over.
Yeah. So yeah, I wrote, this is just it's a very painful issue to read. The older I get, the more painful it is, and I get writing stuff. So I get the idea behind the principle of like writing a letter out to somebody. I do it all the time. Like if I'm mad or just like, I feel like I need to write something out, I do it all the time. I also just rarely send them like what I write. I write it to get it out and to get my thoughts straight. And then I let it sit and I reread it and I choose if I should, rewrite it and send something like that to them and talk it out, or if I should just let it go. Sometimes people don't need to be burdened with every thought that goes through your head. And that's kind of the way this feels here. Like, May doesn't even know who this guy is. We don't even know who this guy is as a reader. This kid doesn't leave his name. She's not going to have the context we, the audience, have. And so just by going off the words of the letter alone, it's creepy, it's stalkery, it's weird, it's not as sweet as I'm sure it was meant to be. This is just, it's slightly horrifying and very, very cringy. And I get the kid is like 13 or 14, so I understand the thinking behind this, and needing to write your feelings out and needing to let your infatuation and your crush know that you exist in some way. But this just felt so unneeded. And then I wrote, like, it's a no from me, dog. And yes, I've clearly made 2 early 2000s jokes. I blame it on this haircut because it's very similar to one I actually had in 2002, thanks to Spider-Girl. And I can't really cope with this issue.
Hello, Ron friends, by the way, in the comments saying anything that makes us collectively appreciate the legendary Tom DeFalco even more has its earned its existence. Maybe not. Look, is it the worst story ever, comic book guy style? No.
No.
It's just it's woefully out of place. And yes, like Kelly has said, we've kind of talked about how we wish it was a lost issue. But
slightly. It's just because it really doesn't make sense here, and since in the complete collection they did not include it in volume 2, we could just skip it.
I do hope that they'll put like a editor's note. This takes place during this period of time in the next collection. But speaking of Ron friends, I guess we can jump to 52 if you're ready.
Jump to 52. Yeah.
All right. He's in the house, so we're going to talk about his artwork. Woohoo!
All right. So cover date is December 2002. On sale date is October 2nd, 2002. And the title of this issue is Seize the Day. So Tom DeFalco, Ron Frenz, Al Williamson, and everybody else. And it is reprinted in Spider-Girl Digest Volume 10. And it should be, if we can get a complete collection, I would say it would be in Volume 4. So Felicity, who also has an Unclean Thoughts poster on her wall, is daydreaming about being the Scarlet Spider and being a crazy super kick-butt superhero. Poor Felicity. Her room seems dark and depressing, and she's curled up, and she just looks really small and defeated. We cut to May heading for school, wearing her dad's jeans. She asks her mom about Allison, and Mary Jane drops her orange juice. May tries to clean it up, and her mom flips out, telling her to leave it. She says that they can talk about it later. May gets to school, and JJ wants to talk, but May doesn't really want to and wants to try to avoid him and says that they can talk next week. Brad thinks that this is because that May brushing off JJ is for him, but May tells Brad to cool it and that she has personal plans. She kind of thinks to herself, dealing with boys is almost harder than dealing with villains sometimes. And we cut to Peter telling Phil that he plans to go back into retirement after his incident with the faces, but he hasn't told May this just yet. And since May hasn't really told anyone that she threw her costume away, we're starting to see some assumed miscommunication. So we cut back to May seeing... we cut back to May seeing JJ get woken up by Slattery and thinks about what she's going to do with Brad Miller, since he's now acting like they are dating after the kiss. But these boys kind of seem to treat relationships like trophies, and she doesn't really know if she's into that. It's not cool. Flash asks May if she's seen Felicity, and May says she has not. Felicity seems to be in the park, daydreaming again of beating Kane up for making her feel humiliated and helpless in issue 48. Felicity daydreams that she defeated all of Spider-Girl's enemies, and the Daydream Avengers wonder what happened to Spider-Girl as she just disappeared. Meanwhile, May gets out of school, no sign of Felicity, and figures she'll find her later. She goes to visit Courtney, and people watches as she visits this undisclosed house, wondering if Spider-Girl will even be missed. May rings the doorbell, and Kane opens the door. We cut to the website where Phil is telling Normie about Peter hanging up his webs. Phil wants Normie to start whipping up some new tech to fill the void. But Peter's only been like Spider-Man twice and has not been the most helpful here. So, all right. Then Phil asks if May has been around. Normie says he might know where to find her. And Phil gets a phone call for the Green Goblin. It's Dark Devil. He needs to meet with Spider-Girl urgently, and he needs Phil to arrange the meeting pronto. Normie calls May, who has been listening to Allison talk about her time with May as a baby and how she kidnapped her under the instruction of Norman Osborn. May listens and hears the remorse and wonders if Kane helped save Normie the other day because of the same need for atonement on past deeds. So Normie calls to tell about Dark Devil, and Phil and Normie have a talk about Brenda being in Rikers. We then see Brenda being walked by guards to a mysterious man who advises that if she is truly sorry for her misdeeds, he can help her make things right. We will touch on that a little bit later. May and Kane have a small discussion as she leaves about redemption and second chances. In Felicity's dream world, the Avengers turn on her because they won't stop talking about Spider-Girl. Felicity advises that Spider-Girl treated her like a cheap accessory and didn't care if she was killed by Kane or Apox. To the dream Scarlet Spider, Spider-Girl just didn't have what it took and was so afraid of the awesome responsibilities and constant danger that she had to run away. Dream Spider Girl shows up and advises she's sorry for treating Felicity poorly and that she should have been more supportive and kind. She couldn't measure up, so she retreated to her own fantasies, quite like what Felicity is doing here, skipping school to depression daydream in the park all day. May thinks about how Kane might be right on the fact that she is the queen of second chances to everyone but herself. But as she continues to beat herself up about what happened with the faces and Courtney and everything else, she notices, and I wrote in quotations, baby, because she calls him a baby, aka Dark Devil, playing Gargoyle, and originally plans to let him just wait. But then comes a Brad Miller. And Brad wants to get coffee, but May sets him straight. It was just a kiss, and she's not really sure how she feels. She figures after talking to Brad, it should be pretty easy to talk to Dark Devil, so she climbs up to the rooftop. She comes in hot, asking Dark Devil to stop stalking her, and Dark Devil plays innocent yet antagonizing, as he just is that way. It's a certain kind of disposition. And he says an informant found a perfectly good Spider-Girl costume, and he figured she could use a spare. May is about to explain she doesn't need her suit back when Dark Devil advises May that she's really grown as a superhero and she's doing a great job. He's only been hard on her because he wanted her to succeed. He knows she always tries her best, and that's all anyone can ever ask for. May balls up the suit and stuffs it in her backpack. Everyone deserves a second chance. And that is the end of 52. So, Zach, what do you think?
Love this issue. This is I love the first three we covered in the other stream. But I really love this issue. This one may sort of eclipse those. I love those for entirely different reasons, but this may be my favorite single issue of the ones we covered today. What a breath of fresh air to jump from the weirdness of 51 to 52. This definitely feels like what should have been 51, but for whatever reason they stuck around. Ron, you can maybe answer this question. I kind of speculated earlier, if you're still in the comments, if the reason that 51 was published was because it was just an inventory story that they were trying to get out, and with the near cancellation with Spider-Girl at 50, they wanted to give you guys extra lead time to produce this issue. I don't know. That's just me speculating, and I know there was some speculation on the Spider-Girl message board back in the day. But I really actually enjoy this redesign of the Scarlet Spider suit. I think it's a really unique design. It's funny because it looks kind of very similar to what Kane would use as the Scarlet Spider later on. The black and white motif. The specific eyes. If Felicity had become Scarlet Spider and not taken back up Ben's old costume, or the variation of it, I would have enjoyed seeing her here. I enjoy getting the I love one of the elements I really love is I just love the superhero figures that are in the background, where you have Mayday laying down. I remember seeing that on the Save Spider-Girl. That was like the banner on SaveSpiderGirl.com was the scene where she's kind of laying down and looking down on May. That's a great image.
It's interesting because it's not. I mean, they're just kind of there. It's less floating heads of guilt and more just floating
bodies of guilt.
Bodies, yeah. Well, I don't know if it's guilt.
Yeah, I don't know because she's not I don't think she's not really feeling guilty here. I think, it's really, there's no protagonist here. That's the great thing about this issue.
This issue is about redemption.
Exactly. And you I just loved I love the fact that we got the scene with Allison and May learning more about her past, and Kane trying to do the right thing. And I just love the interactions between all the various characters. I love the pondering of Mayday whenever we get introduced to the new mystery man. He's somebody that's very important later, so it's really cool to see his first appearance here. I just like the way that they utilized the flashbacks or the dream sequences to really great effect. Dark Devil looks fantastic in this issue. Al Williamson's inks are phenomenal. With Ron's pencils, this is the only time we see Ron draw on this so far in this particular episode. I think he'll jump on in just a few issues full time, but like I say, always good to have Ron on the book. But it really works, and it's an issue that I feel like it's kind of like what they tried to do last issue, and we'll get this a little bit more when we get to issue 53. But these one and done issues were such a rarity at this time, because at this point they were full on right for the trade. And we'll talk about that, especially when we get to Season of the Serpent. But it just is a really, really incredibly solid issue, and one that I profoundly ask that everybody read it on Unlimited or go pick the individual issues up. It's possible, though I doubt it, only because Pat Holloff is a machine with deadlines. So, okay. So that answers my question. Thank you, Ron. So
to me, I just don't know. I do not know why 51 happened. Maybe no one knows. Maybe that's the whole point. There was no reason. It just happened.
Yeah, I don't know, because I know with 50 being double-sized, there was more pages, but even despite that, there was not a trailing off of the artwork. And like Ron says, Pat's usually a machine with deadlines. You look back at his runs, there's very few times where there's interruptions, and usually Ron's filling in on those if there is any. But it's fascinating, because it is so completely out of place when you're sitting there reading these in sequential order, because you're going, what? It does read better in the trade or in the digest.
Yeah, well, because it's sat, it kind of sits where I guess it's supposed to, but it's just very, I don't know. It's a different take on Spider-Girl. It's just a little, I think the thing that's the most jarring is how it's not 51 is just it's not in her perspective. No. But we want to talk about better things, and this is 52. So I agree with all of your points, and I literally think my notes have all caps and then of course, besides being Mayday's most cosplayed casual outfit, there are 3 not including me. So there are 3 other Spider-Girl cosplayers around the world. One of them I think is from Italy, and she screen printed her shirt herself.
Oh, nice.
And so there is this is the most cosplayed casual outfit, and it's a very iconic outfit for Mayday, and I just love what this issue stands for in the meta sense as well as in the universe storyline. It really does feel like a second chapter starting here, and it's I like stories about redemption and earning your second chance, and of course, as I stated, what a way to end just before our break with a story about redemption.
Yes,
keep us uplifted. And hopefully we can come back better than ever. So,
yeah, redemption is definitely, exactly. We're going to come back in a few weeks, but Rigman does make a good point in our comments. He says 51 and 52 sport the first red and white rectangle Marvel logo on the covers. So we've talked about the trade dress, changing throughout the series. 48 had, it's right here. Had the M with the spider in the logo, or that's 49. 48 and 49 both have this, and so this was Marvel was still tweaking with the trade dress, and this is actually the trade dress that would go throughout the entire rest of the series. So no more mentioning of the trade dress anymore. It's the there's no changes that happen as far as I know. If there is, like on a cover, then we'll point it out. But yeah, definitely. So yeah, I really enjoy this. It's a great issue, and like you say, it's just fabulous and a great story, great one and done. So
well, I mean, it's more it ties up some loose ends that we didn't really get completed because it's a good emotional tying up for the next story, next major story.
Exactly. So while we're on our break, you can always go check out our Discord, or you can go to r/SpiderGirl. Yeah. Because like I say, I know Kelly gets on there, and I try to get on there as much as on occasion too. I know I definitely on the Discord, but so yeah, I mean, what a great issue to kind of
just for our break, and then we will come back very shortly. But before we discuss that, we do have an email.
So speaking of
you.
Yes, you did. And I get it. Do you want me to read it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if you guys want to send us an email, you can always send an email to makemymayday@gmail.com or SpiderDudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com. Those are both of our email addresses. The Make My Maydays for the show, but the Spidey Radio Network's for all of our shows. So if you have, reach out to listen to our other shows, you certainly can.
That is also my backup Netflix account. So
there you go.
Make My Mayday.
Yes. So okay. So we got an email from Vinkman. Vinkman, thank you. Says, hello, Kelly and Zach. Congrats on covering the first 50 fabulous issues of Spider-Girl, from the MC2 backstory of Peter and Norman's final battle, to Spider-Girl's brutal confrontation with the Faces, to Mayday's unmasking in front of Allison Mongran. I got it right that time. Mongran. Yeah, that sounds Mongran.
Okay, it's closer than what you've been saying. It's fine.
Listen, I'm going to eventually get it right. As the Clone Saga guy, it's kind of embarrassing that I'm butchering that name. Anyway, issues like these are some of the main reasons behind his personal headcanon that Earth 892 is a better continuation of ASM Volume 1, which is than what we actually got from 1999 to the present, which, with this being developed, it's kind of funny to how it comes back and ties back to that particular era of when it started. I'm proud of you both for consistently putting out the single best Spider-Girl podcast on the internet. Oh, it's always informative, enjoyable, and a ton of fun. Plus, I always love it whenever Kelly goes off on Mayday's friends. It's never not, capital word, not entertaining. I know this show is still in its infancy, but I see big things in the future of the show. He believes in us, and he really means that. You've covered a lot of ground in a very short amount of time, he says, but it's just no small feat. You'll be up to amazing and spectacular before you know it, which makes me a little sad to think that Spider-Girl, The End, and Spider-Verse are a lot closer than he thinks.
Spider-Verse is still slightly better than Web Warriors, guys. Come on.
Ooh, hot take. So he's going to be savoring each and every new episode as they come out. That's it for now. So until Marvel puts Kelly in charge of running the Spider titles, make my Maydays. Sincerely, Vinkman.
Thank you, Vinkman.
Thank you, Vinkman. Great letter. If you want to leave us a letter, of course, like I said, makemymayday@gmail.com, SpiderDudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com as well. Or if you want to leave a voicemail, and Vinkman left us a voicemail a few episodes ago, it's 818-925-6631. We will play it live on the show.
Also, review all your podcatchers.
Yes, leave us a review on Google, Apple. There's some stuff coming with Apple Podcasts, but I don't want to reveal that yet. That I'm working on. They've updated things. Spotify as well, Spotify podcasts. So there's a lot of new stuff coming on in the podcasting world, and we're going to try to maximize that as much as we can. So I'm excited to start working on that. But yeah, really, really leave us those reviews. Give us those 5-star reviews, even if you just, you don't have to leave a written review, but the more we get 5-star reviews, it better helps our algorithm so we can reach more and more people. So, of course, you can always search for Make Mine Mayday on your favorite podcasting app. Leave us a review, leave us a 5-star review. And then, of course, if you want to see us live, you can always find us on YouTube. like,
always,
share, and subscribe.
Yeah, well, it's not even just YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter.
Yes.
So, definitely catch us everywhere. Like, share, subscribe, help grow this wonderful podcast. Because I'm starting to get slightly competitive with the other one now.
Oh,
slightly.
yeah. Slightly.
I have a competitive spirit. I can't help it.
Speaking of the audio versions of the podcast, for those that are waiting, next week they're all uploaded except for this one, which I'm going to try to get edited. Hopefully today before I go to bed tonight, because I don't know what I'm going to be able to do with the next week or so.
Okay, it's okay.
But
it'll be all good. So
all the episodes are uploaded. I'll be sending links to our patrons first, and then of course as we're starting to release them, you'll start seeing them out in the ether. So that'll start next week. I've got them all lined up and ready to go. So, all right. So our next, what's our next episode, Kelly?
There we go. Yeah. So obviously we are taking a break, but there is a mini-sode for June 17th, which is the Spidey Dude website anniversary.
Ooh.
And
sorry, guys.
So as this is going to be a part of a huge multi-show event for Spidey Dude, everyone should get some airtime. So we're just going to go over the illustrious, the never forgotten, and held near and dear to our hearts by the fandom, Megan Brady, who, if anyone doesn't know, is one of the few characters of the MC2 that has movie rights. It was in a wiki leak that she is a part of Sony's Spider-Man Cinematic Universe.
Spider-Man universe of characters.
And Megan Brady's a part of it, and it's kind of crazy to think about. But it's not necessarily an upbeat issue to really go over, but I do think that Miss Brady deserves her own spotlight, and we're definitely going to go over 53 for the mini-sode on June 17th. But after that, on either July 8th or 9th, we're kind of deciding what days now. No, you're fine. We're just trying to figure out what days we're going to record going forward. But either Thursday, July 8th or Friday, July 9th, we should be back up and running for, I guess, what is season 2, to start the season of the Serpent. A real Christmas in July for you guys. We're definitely going to start on it. And it has it all. Beating up Santas, snake people named Seth, action, adventure, awkward, one-sided romantic endeavors, and the secondhand embarrassment that comes with it. You really don't want to miss that at all. So definitely come back. And while you are waiting for us to come back, though, definitely re-listen, give us a review, share this if you really like it, and let's see how we can grow the audience a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to see everybody. I want to see all the fandom come back for a season of the Serpent.
Absolutely. We want to hear from you. So we want to hear from you not only through those reviews or those emails or the voicemails, but we want to hear from you live. So if you want to join us live, I promise you that in July we will have the spidey-dude.com/events page updated, ready to go. We will tell you when we're going to record next. But of course, if you follow us on YouTube, I'll have all those links ready to go. And when we're actually scheduled to go live, sorry for the scheduling issues, sorry for the technical problems of this episode, but we hope you enjoyed it.
It's okay. It happens. I mean, last episode I had problems because of my side. You just seem to have all the bad luck today, and I'm very sorry.
Black cat crossed my path. That's what happened. So.
Well, you said you wanted to be Felicity, so
that's what doomed this episode. All right. So, of course, we want to thank everybody for watching us today. If you want to follow us on Facebook, you can at Spidey Dude Network. Follow us on Twitter at Spidey Dude Radio and at Make My Mayday. YouTube, which eventually, when we get to the 100 subscriber mark, it'll be at Spidey Dude Network. Instagram at Spidey Dude Network and at KMcDaniel28. TikTok also, if you want to follow Mayday, and eventually I'm going to make me a TikTok, and maybe I'll start doing stuff. I'll start promoting the site on TikTok. At least.
Okay, that's good.
I don't
know if the world needs to see you learn the TikTok dances.
Listen, I am so overly Caucasian. I am so painfully white. I can't dance. No, it's bad. No one wants to see that. So yeah, follow Kelly on TikTok at Make Mine Mayday as well. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for listening. If you're listening to the audio episodes, thank you all. So thank you all for watching and listening, and we will see you guys next time here in a few weeks. June 17th, the big multi-show event for Spidey Dash Dudes Radio Network.
See you guys later. Bye.
Bye, guys.